Welcome to Quilt Addicts Anonymous. I'm Stephanie Sebbing, and today we're going to look at some brand new goodies that we have in the shop today. We've got some art gallery and we've got some Kaffe wide backs. You guys asked for it, so we ordered it. So let's start by taking a peek at the Kaffe. So if you have not ordered wide backs from FreeSpirit, they're printed on a sateen. This is kind of a trendy thing that is happening now for quilting cotton or for quilt backs. It's more of a shinier, silkier feel, and it has a really nice thread count and it feels really nice against you. So if you think about it, the quilt back is what's going to be against your body when you're snuggling up with it. So this is a great feeling fabric to have against your body, let me tell you. It quilts up beautifully. I've got an example of a quilted one that I can show you guys as we get down and take a peek at these. But essentially a wide back is 108 inches wide. So typically when you are given the yardage for your backing fabric that's needed, so let's say you're doing a quilt that's 60 by 60, you're going to add about 10 inches to that, and so you're getting 70 inches, and then you're going to have two widths in that case, because you need to have obviously more than your 40 inches of width of fabric. You're going to need two of those, so you're going to have a little bit of waste there because you really need 70. You're going to end up with 80, so you got 10 inches on either side. With the wide backs, you do not have to piece it, and it is just 108 inches wide. So if you've got a 60-inch quilt, you're going to order 70 inches or 2 yards of your wide back. You're going to have plenty to quilt that lap size quilt. You could quilt all the way up to a really long twin with that because it's 108 inches wide. But that's what you want to do. You want to take your shortest measurement, add 10 to it, and then that is how many inches, convert that to yards that you're going to need. So this comes really in handy when you're doing a really large quilt. So let's say you've got a 96 by 96 king. Well, you can get away with just getting 3 yards of your wide back and you're good to go. You don't have to get it's like 9 or 10 yards of fabric, and so it ends up being a better deal usually for you, and then you don't have to piece it. You can just hand it off to your long armor and let them have a go at it. So we're going to take a peek at this. Typically what FreeSpirit does when they're doing wide backs is they take the same design that you would get on your regular quilter's cotton and they blow it up big, so it makes sense with the big scale. So this one is called Onion Rings. It is just plain white and black. It's very graphic print. It really looks very pretty, and it would look great really on any quilt because black and white goes with everything. You can see I wear a lot of white when we do these videos because I match everything. I can just match my lipstick to whatever we're looking at for the day. But it also is just very graphic. It will work great for those black and white quilts that people like to do, black, white, and red, things like that. This one is Lotus Leaf in Jade. This print is bigger than what you would see with your typical quilter's cotton, your 42 to 44 inch wide, but it works really well on this really large scale, and this is more of a pastel. So if you've got one of those lighter Kaffe ones, or you just have a lighter quilt in general, this is a really great one to use this with, and again, no piecing of your back, so that is fantastic. This is Milli Fiore in pastel. This is one of Kaffe's classic designs. Is very well known for this, is very recognizable. It's like this big kaleidoscope of prints, and again on a bigger scale because we have a 108 inch wide back. I'm going to grab the quilt so you can see what this looks like quilted up. I'm not going to show you the top yet because we still have to bind this guy, but you can see it quilts up really pretty. There's kind of a fan design in here, and it really just, since it's so busy, you really can't even see it. And that is actually a really great tip if you are a new quilter. Pick a really busy back, because then if you screw up, nobody's ever going to be able to notice because there's so much going on in the fabric that you can't see what's going on. So really any of these Kaffes, except maybe the first one that was all black and white, you're just gonna not even see it if you quilt on here and you make a little mistake. The fabric is going to hide all of your sins. Lastly, we got Lotus Leaf in purple. Now Kaffe, of course, is not going to just do purple. They're known for their wild mixing of colors. So we have also some green, some teal in here, blue, some magenta, a lot of different colors in here, but it all works really well together. It's all very beautiful. It's very bold, so it would look great on the bold back and a feminine quilt. But again, it's busy. So if you want to practice in free motion quilting, you're not positive it's going to be absolutely fabulous, this is a good back to use because it's going to hide any of those little flaws as you're learning and practicing and getting better. All right, so to recap, wide backs printed on a sateen, very silky, very nice against your skin for that quilt back. Very busy, so it's great for hiding those little sins in your quilting because, you know, we all have them, nobody's perfect. And also when you are converting your pattern backing, you want to, as long as your quilt, at least one side is smaller than 98 inches, what you're going to do is you're going to take the other side. So let's say we've got a 96 by 96 quilt. You need to add 10 inches to that. So we have 106, and that works out to be about 3 yards, and that's what you're going to need for this. If you've got a 60 by, let's say, 84 inch quilt, that's a good twin size. The 84 will be covered by your 108 inch width, and so you want to add your 10 inches to your 60 inch width of that quilt to get to 70. That's about 2 yards. So that works out perfectly for you. You're going to have maybe a little bit extra, but not a ton, and you won't have to piece your back. So it works out really great. It's really easy, really fun, and these are some really fabulous prints that you can work with. It is a little bit more expensive than quilter's cotton because you're getting a whole lot more fabric in a yard than you would. Again, you end up getting a better deal because it's just priced better per square inch if you look at it that way. Next up, we have a new collection, Pollinate by Jessica Swift for Art Gallery Fabrics. This one is really pretty, and as long as we're talking about fabrics that feel really great, Art Gallery has one of the best feels in the industry. I made about half of the quilts for my first book with Art Gallery, and it was just so fabulous to work with, and it feels so soft and silky, and it really isn't any more expensive than any other quilting cotton out there, so it's a great deal. And they really come up with some really rich colors, some fabulous designs. You really have some true artists that are working for Art Gallery, and it just looks fabulous. So pollinate, obviously we have some little tiny bugs that pollinate the flowers, and the bees are important. Without bees we wouldn't have anything. So we are going to take a peek at some of these fabrics in here. We have this on yardage, as you can see behind me, and we also cut some fat quarter bundles for you that you can get as well. All right, so this one I feel like is a great blender. It's got a little bit of the colors that you're going to see throughout the quilt, but it's also really dark. This is like a great candidate for your binding because it's going to be a really dark outside print to sort of frame off your quilt with, but yet it's going to have all your colors to tie everything together. This one is also really pretty. It's got a bunch of little florals, and this one, their Art Gallery really does a good job of kind of sticking to colorways. So you can see that we have here, we have a lot of our pinks and our magentas and our oranges in right here. And then we're gonna move into a little bit of yellow, and we're gonna kind of spread. And then we've got more of like some sage green, not quite turquoise, but it has those hints of blue in it. It just really is a lot of fun when you look at these. This one just kind of looks like a bush to me. It's not directional because the little bushes are going in two different ways. So you do not have to worry about which way you cut that. You got some nice fern-like leaves. They're really pretty. And this one will make a really great like blender print as well because you're really only talking about 3 or 4 colors in this one print. Then we have this nice dotted line one. This would also be a really good binding candidate or a border. I think this would look really great in. It's just a nice small print and get that pop of color and really bring out the oranges and some of these other prints. We've got some flying birds here, and it looks like they're wearing crowns, so they must be like the king of the birds or something. But again, doing a really great job of pulling in the colors. We have the magentas, we have these peachy oranges, we've got some yellow, and then we have some green to tie in over there, and even some like dark blue black for that as well. I really like this one. This one, I don't know, it reminds me of like those paper cutouts that you see around Day of the Dead in terms of the way the design is made, like block printing almost, but it really is very pretty. It looks like there are flowers, but they could also be like little bells. Like you really could use your imagination with this. But it's just a really nice yellow with just a hint of like citron in there. This one we've got to look at big. It is a nice big focal print, and it does a really good job of pulling in a lot of the other colors. We've got nice, really big flowers. This is great for fussy cutting, but it also kind of has a lot going on. So if you just wanted to cut it and go, you absolutely could do that as well. And of course, we can't pollinate without having some pollinators in there. We've got some teeny tiny little bees and what looks like some sort of a coneflower daisy, and they're buzzing around and getting the pollen everywhere. So if you're a gardener, this is a good one to have. And this is not like a bug that would be offensive to people. It is a very cute little bee. So I think this one would be really cute buzzing around your quilt. This is one of those blenders that's just really great at tying things together. I guess we could loosely call this a flower, but really it's just a little kind of irregular shapes put around there, and it's just a fun little print. Here we have a mix of different flowers again. It is still really pretty. It pulls in a lot of the yellows and the purple, or the pinks, a little bit of the peachy orange and the darker colors as well. And then this I think is the best candidate for background. It looks like tiny little seeds. It looks like polka dots when you're just looking at it. It looks like a white and black polka dot print. But when you get closer, it looks like tiny, tiny little seeds floating around all over. I have things that actually look like this all over my yard at the moment as the trees are shedding that. So it is a really great, very fun collection. Very great to work on for summer. I think this would make a great summer quilt. Also, you know, springtime as well. If you know you don't get it done in time for this summer, you can enjoy it next spring as well. But these colors are just really fun. They all work really well together, and you can see that while some of them just have a couple of the color families in it, so if you wanted to just do a small quilt, like if you want to do our split 9 patch, you could easily do it by grabbing these 5 prints and then maybe one of these for background. But also they all work really well together because they do a really good job of making sure to pull colors into some of these key prints where they're able to tie it all together and make it work. Well, thank you very much for following along with today's video and checking out what's new in the shop. You can get any of these products over at shop.quiltanonymous.com. We've got lots of inspiration for what to do with these as well. We have lots of fat quarter friendly patterns that you can get that we designed for part of our Stash with Stephanie Club. We have my book, Fat Quarter Workshop, that's also filled with fat quarter friendly patterns, and that one is a great deal. It's 12 patterns for $14.99, so you can't beat that. It is fabulous deal. So check that out. There are 12 fat quarters in this collection, so you'll have to find a nice little lap quilt to make out of that, but it's really fun. It's really cute. You can always get the coordinating yardage to make it bigger or add borders, backing, whatever you want. And if you are a Kaffe fan, then get you 3 yards of this because it will work for pretty much whatever you've got. 2 yards will work for any lap or twin usually, give or take. If it's a super wide twin, it's not going to work. You need like 2.5. But most twins and laps will work for 2 yards. Kings up to 96 inches will work with 3. So really fun, really nice, easy way to do backing. And I hope you guys really enjoy it. If you like it, we'll keep reordering it. But you asked for it, so we brought it in for you. So until next time, happy quilting.